And it could be you or anyone at any other point in time. And if this can continue, we face far worse. This is like the litmus test, the testing ground. It's like they test weapons on Palestinians, weapons that have never been tried anywhere. They actually battle tested. When they say battle tested, it's because they've tested them on Palestinians. It's disgusting. And just returning from the West Bank, I went to see our family there. Beautiful. It's so sad, and I'm going to try and say it in a way that's not going to make me burst into tears. It was difficult to be there when, especially being raised here, where you have some sort of freedom. Well, it's even they're being tested right now, but you're there and you're sitting there like with a cup of coffee, and then you just hear gunshots, and it's like, what's going on here? You know, it's another Palestinian being shot. You know, it's just like commonplace, like everyday thing. Like, could you imagine just sitting there and you just hear someone just getting shot? And drones, the buzzing of drones, where they just come to intimidate, to let you know always that we're here. We're always watching. We'll always be here dictating to you. Whenever you try to go in here, then like what would take you 5 minutes, literally. Like imagine if you've got your aunt or your cousin or family member like just on the other side of the road. No, you have this monstrous apartheid wall that divides them to the point where you have to travel for hours just to get around to one of the crossings or the checkpoints, to then be like herded like cattle, forced to stand for hours on end, not because they can't let you through, not because they won't, they shouldn't be there anyway, but just because they can. They just sit there and they'll watch you and just make you wait for hours. There'll be pregnant women, you know, elderly women. There's no seats, there's no toilet. They'll just make you. It's just pure. Even when you go, they just talk to you like a dirt. Where you from? And they're just so aggressive. And they just wait for any opportunity to just slam a gun in your face, beat you, torture you. And this is just like what they have to live with. You can't even wear the keffiyeh. You're not allowed to hold your own flag in your own home. And I wore this necklace there. God help me. You know, all hell breaks loose. You even say the word Palestinian. I mean, we got held. She obviously, my name, Lubna. And she just sort of singled me out and decided, right, we're going to interrogate this one. Asked me 101 questions. Where are you going? Where are you from? And really aggressively. And snatched my phone from me, my passport. And when my father came to inquire, like, okay, well, what is the problem? She just literally shoved his hand in his face. Go away. God, this is just like how they treat Palestinians. Like, can you imagine? And you're standing there really angry. You imagine if this happens here, right? It's a different story, the reaction. You can react. Out there, you have to just stand there because you know the moment you say or do anything or react in any way, you're either going to get shot, arrested, tortured, or they'll do it to beat the shit out of my father. And you just have to sit there and take it. And this is life. It's, to live like that, to know every aspect of your life is just under their boot, is suffocated. You know, the food is limited. They're even the farmers and people who are trying to make a living. They can't import and export their produce. Everything is controlled by them, even water. Like you go there, you can't just like have a shower every day like you can here. Like the water's controlled. There's only so much water they're allowed to have. And then they switch it off every now and then just because they can. Same with electricity and internet. It's just every single aspect. It is so suffocating and so oppressive. And there's separate cars for Palestinians. Like Palestinians can't travel in their cars or to the areas that they've taken from us. It's like a whole different roads, different cars, different buses. And when you see them, they're just like that death look. It was so disturbing. And they're attacked constantly and just defenseless because you're up against like people who sit there and they're not afraid to just pop you. I went to see our friends in one of the farms there, and they're constantly under attack. The settlers just keep snatching more of their homes and just shoot at them. You try to protest, and they'll just shoot you dead, or they'll cap you, like they'll do your kneecaps, and basically to ensure that you have now lifelong disabilities. You can't walk. So many Palestinians have been disabled, those that are alive. Then the prisons. One of my cousins is now in prison again. Like this is what they do. Tortured, abused. One of his friends just not long ago came out after having to serve a 20-year sentence. And this is just one of many cases. He came out after a week of being back home, he went to the top of his building and jumped and committed suicide. But because of the torture, the rape, the abuse, they shoved metal poles in their rectums, they damaged them psychologically, physically. It's the sickest, most brutal thing. And they, even when they are released, they're so disturbed. They just can't cope with this and this turmoil that they're just always in. And some men, the only time they ever get to actually meet their sons is when they meet each other in prison. Can you imagine, like they're building a family and the wives will be pregnant and they never get to see their sons except when their sons end up in the same place, because that's what they do. And they just meet for the first time in a prison while they're all being tortured. It's just, there's so much of it. You could write books on how disturbing it is. It's like walking into like something off a movie screen where it happened like hundreds of years ago, and you think this injustice does not occur to everybody. It's worse. Everything that I'm saying to you, it's so much worse. Like then I can even begin to describe, and I'm just describing really small snippets of just the things that I had seen and experienced there. But it is so brutal, and you just think no one should have to live like this. And coming back, it was just so discombobulating coming back, and then just sort of you realize the stark differences and what crime have my people committed other than just being Palestinian. And that's a crime. Like I can't understand how they've been demonized to such a point where this injustice has been not just permitted but endorsed and fueled by this state. And it's just so sickening. And it just made me even more determined. Like, I wanted to stay with my family. I really wanted to be there with them. I wanted to learn our language properly. I can cook Arabic food, but not as well as my cousins and aunts there. I wanted to learn how to make all of these dishes, things that we still do in the family, but not the same as being there with our people and family. It's just, and you want to hold on to like everything, but it is so precious because we're literally now on the brink of non-existence. Like they're wiping us out. And if you feel like you're holding on to like hot coal, just trying to cling on to any part of your identity, your history, everything is being erased, trying to rewrite history, trying to deny our existence. And it's really heart-wrenching coming back and leaving them. It was like, and it's not like a normal goodbye, when you see your mates, all right, bye, see you next time. You're saying goodbye like that's the last time you might ever see them again. And that was really difficult. Sorry.
Okay.
But I said, I don't want to leave you. There's a part of me that would just rather stay and die with them than have to watch this horror unfold and feel so helpless. But they said to me, Lubna, please go, because here you can't do anything. We can't speak. We can't even wear the kafia. We can't hold our flag. But if you go back there, you can tell our stories. Tell them what they do to us. Tell them how we live, because we can't speak. So I come back to tell people, like to urge people to just stand against what this state is doing and responsible for. And we can make such a difference. And I know there's so many people who stand there and support, and a lot of people are now feeling really helpless as right now they're being forced into this concentration camp in Gaza, and this death trap where they're going for food and they're either shot at. It's GHF, like the American Israeli humanitarian support, is awful. And they go in and they either get shot at, disabled because they pop them in the knees, or some other part of them is just completely disables them, or they're taken and tortured in their prisons, or now starved to death. And this is what's happening. They are literally just day by day, as we sit here, just dying of mass starvation. They've not let them, there's no food going in. And you're watching babies like, just like, it's really difficult. Just like, please just watch them. They're filming their own annihilation. And there's several posts on different media on Instagram they're actually showing you these little babies' bodies as they're wasting away. And another one just died this morning, one of many. And you just seem like this little skeleton. They're just being killed with the starvation being used as a weapon. It's the most awful thing to see. And when you eat, like I eat, and I just feel sick knowing that as I'm eating this, my people are being starved to death. And those that try to go into these death traps to get that food are shot at, tortured, imprisoned, or disabled from it. And it's infuriating to watch it. It's so painful to see it. And so I now dedicate all of my time and life to trying to oppose this and to engage with people to let them understand what this means, what any support of Israel means. And we must take that action. They've done this in Spain, in Greece, in France now, where workers and dockers have refused to load any shipments to and from Israel. And we need to encourage and mobilize the unions and the workers to please stand by us and fight against this. Just refuse to handle, refuse to fuel their war machine. And there's billions in the world who are marching in support of us, but it's now we have lost all trust and faith in this government, who are the ones that began and continue to fuel this. And we just remember that the injustice that's taking place now to us as Palestinians is one that affects us all. And we're already feeling the implications of this, even the effects to our right to protest, our freedom of speech being stripped. We are all being targeted for speaking against injustice. And we have to ask ourselves, at what point will others' rights here be stripped as well? If this can be allowed to continue. This is them basically testing how far and how compliant we're going to remain in the face of a genocide. We must send them a clear message that we will not, and that we will speak and we will fight against this.
Thank you, Lubna.
Thank you.
Powerful, powerful message. Absolutely powerful. Ferdy's got his hand up. He wants to ask a question. So what I'm going to do before I bring Ferdy in, I'm going to end the recording. But thank you for that. We needed to know and hear that.
Thank you.